instructed by Sheria Mtaani, Islam-based activists group, to go and do a memoranda to Parliament and inform them the concerns of the slum people, the poor people in this country, the vulnerable people, their concerns about the bill that has gone to Parliament and has been read in the first reading. Instructions I have is that within the bill, dramatic and far-reaching amendments are being propagated in Parliament to, one, remove the position of the Director General or the Director Immigration and hand over the functions of that position to the PS, a Principal Secretary. First and foremost, a Principal Secretary is an position created by the Public Service Commission, whereby principal secretaries are interviewed for a specific purpose, to run a whole department called a ministry. He is the financial officer, accounting officer of the ministry. To date, the Constitution provides for at least not more than 24 cabinet positions. Therefore, the departments within that are around 26. There are only around 26 or 27 principal secretaries. Why is it that the PS for internal security is the only PS going to run a department of immigration, while other PSs, 25, 26 other PSs, do not run any of the departments? Are we likely to see the same PS being told that now we are removing the position of the Inspector General of Police? Because the same position the Inspector General of Police has is the same position the Director of Immigration has. That is a technical arm. Is the PS going to run the police? Is the PS going to run the Department of National Youth Service? Is the PS going to run departments of Children's Department? That can't happen. And this one, when you look at it globally, this is the first time that we have an accounting officer purporting to be given the functions of a technical position called the Director of Immigration to run it. Number two, the funding of government runs from, one, Treasury releases money to the Principal Secretary as an accounting officer of the ministry. When that money, he is the IE holder of that ministry. He sends that money to the Director of Immigration as the operations person. The Director of Immigration accounts to the PS. How are we going to have accounting procedures and auditing of public funds to us? And the instructions I have that this is a serious conduit for corruption, so that money that comes out from the immigration department, money that is allocated by the donors for immigration purposes, the revenue that immigration department gets can't be channeled to the elections of 2022. As Sheria Mtaani have instructed me, the third ground that they have raised serious issues about is that Kenyans are alive to the fact what immigration was 5 years, 10 years ago, when passports were being issued to Al-Qaeda terrorists, when we had the first bomb attack at the TSC, it was because of the passports. When we had terror attacks at Dusit, it was because of infiltration of the passport system. When we had the Garissa attack, where several Kenyans were killed, it was because of the lapses within the immigration department. The current Director of Immigration, the present structure and the law of immigration has tightened. No foreigner walks in. Today, we don't have Westgate attack, courtesy of the present management under the current Director of Immigration. Are we as Kenyans going to see our security being compromised because of this. Third, every Kenyan is alive to the reality that a few years ago, every business, dummy business, had been taken by Cameroonians, Pakistanians, Nigerians. My hair could only be shaved by the Nigerians. Petty offenses. Hawkers were coming from Tanzania with work permits. Basic driving jobs had been taken up by people from funny countries. Under the immigration department now, all these people were rounded up and they were deported to their country. What does that mean? More Kenyans have jobs that are only fit for Kenyans. When we allow the political class, appears is a political appointee to take over the position and the function of immigration. Are we going to see the people who are deported, the foreigners who are deported back to this country? That is the question the Sheria Mtaani people from Mathare are asking. They don't want to lose their jobs. They have their own children, they have their own sons, they have their own daughters who should take up those jobs. The fourth reason that they have raised the question is, what is the international norm in terms of immigration officers worldwide? The norm is an immigration officer is one employed by the public service of that country, trained, designated as an immigration officer, specifically for immigration purposes, just like specifically for custom purposes. When now we are removing specific designated people and calling them clerks, NIMS, they are clerks. They can be deployed to the police, they can be deployed to go and work as clerical officers in the registration of persons and others. Are we losing the professionalism this country has fought to have? So, for the sake of the employees of the Department of Immigration, for the sake of their structure, job mobility, the Directorate of Personnel Management under the Public Service Commission has a scheme of work. How does an immigration officer get into employment in job group J and how they rise to the top? What happens to that issue? And that is why Sheria Mtaani has instructed us that if Parliament moves ahead and does not listen to the views of the Kenyans, we shall move to court to challenge that provision, that new law, and we'll make sure that it flops as it is passed. The sixth reason is that the immigration function is a constitutional provision. The schedules of the Constitution have said immigration function cannot be devolved. It is recognized by the Constitution, and the Constitution is Wanjiko speaking, the Kenyans speaking. Therefore, how does Parliament, a statutory provision, want to amend, repeal a constitutional provision? The bill is unconstitutional. It stands dead on arrival. But as we have presented that memorandum to Parliament, we hope Parliament is going to listen to this. We shall also be pushing to appear before the Committee of Parliament on the 11th and 12th of January to present the views of Sheria Mtaani very viciously, because Sheria Mtaani represents 44 million Kenyans against a small political elite. Lastly, when we are creating a super PS, what about other PSs? There are more than 25 PSs. They have not been given this power. What is so important at this time? There are PS who only serves for 5 years. Remember, transition is coming. President Uhuru Kenyatta will not be there in 2022 September, August 9. New PSs are going to be appointed. Shadrack might be appointed as PS, Macharia might be appointed as PS. How do you expect a technical job to be done by a political appointee? It is our view, and a very strong view, but this is corruption fighting to get back into the immigration department to give work permits to people who are chased, to give people citizenship that don't deserve to be American, to be Kenyan citizenship, and lastly, to deny our youths, our own children, the right to get passports. Passports was a serious corruption then, where it was only a preserve of very few people. Are we, that is the line we are going? Today, under that act, under the Director of Immigration, we have passports being issued in Kisii, we have passports being issued in Kisumu, we have decentralized application of passports. To date, every aspect of passport and immigration transaction is digitalized. The money that brokers used to get have been seen. The loopholes that were there have been seen. And that is why we say this bill is corruption fighting back to remove the current management of immigration matters and bring politically correct people to allow for corruption, so that money is collected and paid in cash instead of a digital transfer of money. Application for all immigration purposes, that is digital, to be removed. We have information that currently, globally, Kenya ranks among the fourth, among the best practices in terms of immigration and the implementation of the immigration law. We hope Parliament will hear this and stop that. We intend to sue vehemently, and we call upon the Attorney General, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Solicitor General to provide guidance to Parliament that that bill is unconstitutional. As we are here, we have already drafted the pleadings to go to court, and if they do not listen to our memorandum, then we shall go to court and challenge that position.